Our Russos, who art at Marvel, hallowed be their names. Thy kingdoms come, thy will be. Oh, hey, I was in the middle of prayer, sorry. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna announce this right now. I am no longer Christian. I'm now Russian. Oh, you hadn't heard? The Russos are God. Zack Snyder is the devil. Hey everyone, it's the real Q Storm. Let me just start this review by giving you a little history lesson about myself. Back in 1980, when I was a wee lad of 14, I saw the movie Superman 2. Changed my life. It's what made me want to go into my current field of video and film. Fast forward to 2014, and Captain America Winter Soldier steals the crown as my favorite comic book movie. And then this happened. Long story short, this movie is f***ing awesome, epic, best movie of the year, blows Winter Soldier out of the water. Okay, let me slow my roll for a little bit. Winter Soldier is superior in terms of a pot-boiler thriller with fewer characters allowing for a tighter narrative. But in terms of someone like me, having grown up with comic books and having read these characters since I was, 12, Civil War is superior in terms of providing a visceral thrill of pure comic book geekdom. I walked out of the theater with a smile on my face, wanting to share with all the audience members the experience we all just had. Listen, I can say I'll be 50 this year, and I walked out of that screening feeling like a 16-year-old. This is the movie that Avengers 1 and 2 should have been. That is to say, this is the best Avengers movie that's not an Avengers movie. Cap became my favorite MCU character after Winter Soldier, so I was a little put off by the fact that he was being cavilled. But despite all the characters that inhabit the screen, and there are plenty, Cap is still the foundation that grounds this film. What makes this film work is simple, and it's a concept that Zack Snyder and DC just cannot seem to understand. The movie knows how to balance its serious themes with doses of fun, and the Russos never forget that these characters aren't just chess pieces in service of some grandiose thesis of the nature of superheroism. They are people under the costumes. The filmmakers never forget that, and as such, they have motivations, goals, and it's all for the most part logical. Even in this superhero world, each of these characters is believable, and what they do on screen is believable. No false notes or questionable actions by any character here. The Russos definitely explore the pervading theme of how far is too far. Is any amount of freedom worth sacrificing in an attempt to be safe and secure? How far would you go for vengeance? How far would you go to protect a loved one, even if that person committed horrible crimes while not in his or her right mind? And the basic theme of this movie is, whose side are you on? These themes are the bedrock of this film. They permeate from the first frame to the last, and the screenplay does not diverge throughout the course of the narrative. White people, I want to talk to you for a sec. Just in case you didn't know, when us black folk heard that they were finally introducing Black Panther in the MCU, we were like, they better not this up. Personally, I was saying, if I see some more of that Finn bull, I'm gonna be ready to riot. But to be honest, just looking at how well written the Falcon was, we should have had more faith. They do the Panther right. Dude is a boss. While I would have preferred to have seen T'Challa introduced in Wakanda, his introduction here is totally organic and totally fits. He was not to be with, and he is perfectly set up to appear in his solo film. Chadwick Boseman knocked it out of the park. I'll also say this, seeing T'Challa and T'Chaka, two black men speaking in African tongues in a big screen Marvel superhero film, it brought tears to my eyes. And don't get me wrong, I love Black Widow. ScarJo is fine as hell. but seeing a beautiful jet black sister tell Natasha, move or you will be moved. It was dope. Okay, sorry. I just had a blackout moment for a second. Let me get back to corporate mode. Okay, I'm back. It's all cool. Spider-Man. Spider-Man is in a Marvel property. Was I the one saying how I didn't want to see a teenage Spider-Man again? Was I saying that bull before I saw Tom Holland slay this role? If I said that, mea culpa. Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Whoever decided to cast Tom Holland, give that guy or girl a raise and keys to the private jet. This was easily the best presentation of Spider-Man and Peter Parker ever. So I gotta give a big you to Sony, because you had 5 chances to get it right, and in my opinion, you failed. You hand it over to Marvel, and they knock it out of the park right out of the gate. To Sony, Fox, and Warner Brothers, I recommend you go see this movie and take copious notes. Okay, now, the film wasn't perfect. The camera work during the first act fight scenes was a little too shaky and frenetic. There's a scene with Tony Stark and Peter Parker that's really implausible. There's a reveal in the final act that reduces a major character to a Batman ripoff, and it's inconceivable that the events depicted in that reveal wouldn't have come up as a motivation for the character in earlier films. But by the same token, that Peter Parker scene introduces us to Tom Holland, who again is brilliant and provides genuine laughs. The final reveal leads to an intense battle where all smugness and artificial pretense is laid to the side, and we see a character portrayed as we've never seen him before. And I should say that final battle is what we should have gotten in Batman v Superman, given that the motivations for the fight between these two characters are all valid. The fight scene at the airport is pure comic book geek heaven, easily the best scene of any existing comic book movie on record, and worth the price of admission. I would pay the price of an IMAX 3D ticket just to see that scene on a loop for 2.5 hours. I cannot say enough about this movie. You all know by now that I'm tough when it comes to reviewing movies. But for the 2 or 3 flawed scenes and a contrived reveal at the end, this would get 5 out of 5 reels. But I'm still giving it 4.5 reels. Take my advice. Even if you're on your deathbed, drag yourself out and go see this. Then you can die peacefully. Oh, wait. I forgot the Russos are directing the Infinity series, so just hang on a little longer. Oh, hell with it. Just let the Russos direct every movie ever, and we'll figure out the immortality thing. And that's the martini. And if you like what you see, please subscribe.